landed on Discovery. I'm David Irwin. I'm your host today. I'll be meeting with Ari Freed, co-owner of Freed's, and we're going to be discussing some things with regard to the family business, some of the ups and downs of the business, and some of the high points in their careers. Obviously, it's a packed session, so we're going to get at it today. Anyways, Ari was born in Windsor, Ontario. He left home to study in Toronto at York University, obtaining his Bachelor of Arts in Economics, which I share with him as well. Returned home to do his MBA at Windsor, I believe. In '85, he joined Canada's largest retail operation, Clothier operation. Guess which one that is? That's Freed's, which I even didn't know after shopping here all those years, and perhaps you don't as well. Anyways, Freed's is now a fourth generation business. We're on to the children of Ari Freed. Evan and Derek, will be talking about them a little bit later. In fact, we're going to be interviewing Evan today, and Derek's away on a buying trip, so we can't have him in. Maybe we'll pick him up on a subsequent podcast. Ari has served in the community beyond business extensively with the Business Association here on Ottawa Street, and for 2 consecutive terms with the Better Business Bureau in Windsor from '94 to 2004. He's also served on the Windsor Chamber of Commerce and been a long-standing director of the Alzheimer's Society here in Windsor. He's been married for 33 years to Pam, also a recipient of her MBA as well. I don't know if I mentioned that with Ari. He's got his MBA. I think I did, that he picked it up in Windsor here. He enjoys a healthy lifestyle as well of biking, music, golf, basketball, cycling, and playing the acoustic guitar, which speaks to the fact that we might have him do a performance, not today, but at a subsequent podcast. We'll get him to weigh in on that and see how he feels about that. Anyways, his other true loves are his sons. As I mentioned the names of them: Derek, who is a graduate of the Eli Broad Business School at Michigan State, and with Evan, who graduated from Michigan, went on to Southwestern, I believe it is, law school in Los Angeles, to receive his Juris Doctorate, his law degree. And they're working in the business, as I said. Last but not least, he's got another mad love that he had mentioned to me, and he didn't want me to really bring this out on air. It's just a crazy love affair with his Australian Shepherd, Carmi. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce Ari Freed. So welcome, Ari.
Dave, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Truly a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. It's all mine. Little doubt there's much to unpack today, obviously, right?
Absolutely.
There's a storied history here with the business and yourself. But I thought I need an anchor point, and maybe no better place than your grandpa, Sam.
Yeah, I don't know if the camera would pick it up or not, but over my left shoulder, or right over my head, we've got a picture that sits in our boardroom of Sam Freed. So Sam's the founder, Sam's the rock, Sam's the foundation. He's the one that, without Sam, there'd be no Freeds, that's for sure.
That's great. What was your relationship like with him?
Sam had a great relationship with all his grandchildren, very outgoing, very loving, and very much a people person, but very much about family, very family oriented. He would always say, we could make a few dollars more or a few dollars less. That really was not important to him at all. What was important is that everyone just get along and that everyone be healthy.
That's great. Seems that legacy is continuing today, no question, from what I know with you and all my experiences in here in the store. So that's evident through the entire experience.
Well, we could talk about Sam for the full 20 minutes, but I know you want to cover a lot of other areas, but
sure.
I remember when I first came into the business, tons of customers would come up to me and talk to me about Sam. A lot of them said, I used to caddy for your grandfather, because when my dad came in the business, grandfather started taking a little bit of a back seat. He'd go out golfing, but he was known throughout the community for a lot of things. Spoke 7 languages, and one thing I do want to mention about Sam Freed also is just, it was always about the customer. Everything stemmed from the customer, take care of the customer, and everything else falls into place. And that's part of our secret recipe for success.
Excellent. About the caddying, I used to caddy at Beach Grove. Was he at Beach Grove?
Roseland.
Roseland?
Roseland guy, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He could have been at Beach Grove. He could have been at Essex,
Yeah.
but there's a point behind that.
Yeah. Yeah.
public course.
Yeah, never hit it that long, but always straight down the middle and up and down from around the green.
Wow. So what about the greatest moment in your career here, personally or business, or kind of a blend? You kind of just mentioned it with your grandfather, but were there some other areas?
Greatest moment. I'll just tell you, when I think of that, the moments that I have every day when I'm on the floor, talking to different customers,
Right.
getting them suited up, those are all great moments. If I had to try and pinpoint one greatest moment in this conference room, probably sometime in 2018, I was internally struggling with the future of the business or the succession of the business. Dan and I were starting to get, close to 60 at the time. And, where are we going from here? How will the store continue to run as we get a little bit older? And as you mentioned, my sons, Evan and Derek, Derek having a business degree, Evan having a law degree, should they come into the business or not? It was not really my intention or their intentions growing up. But if we were going to have succession and we're going to have continuance for years to come, I personally was, struggling and weighing should they or shouldn't they, because it's a very difficult business. It's not just, I don't know what it seems like to a customer, but there's a lot of, ins and outs that go into the details to keep this successful after 93, 94 years. And I said to Dan, what do you think if we're to bring Evan and Derek into the business to have a fourth generation? And I was sitting here, Dan was sitting there, just the two of us in the room, and he said, I think it's a great idea. And that just brought a lot of joy to me, full of emotion, and one thing led to another, and they've been here since October of 2018, and here we are today, four generations.
You must have been reading my script, because it was the question. I was going to say, what were some of the headwinds that you were facing, or perhaps the lowest moment? And I was going to guess that when the business transitioned from the suit business, this is a consumer perspective, Dave Irwin on the outside buying product. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I would have said that 2008, the financial crisis in general, transition earlier from the suits to a different kind of wear where people weren't wearing that kind of stuff.
That was one of them. There's two other points to that, to sort of the tough times. The first tough one, real tough one for me and our store, was 9/11/2001.
Right.
When those towers got hit, and at that time our business was not just a huge Windsor business, but we had worked real hard, Dan and I and our team, on bringing Americans into our business, and I think it became over 30% of our business at one time was American business as well.
Remember that.
And after 9/11, that completely, they closed down the borders. That all fell away. So that was, up until that time, was the lowest point. But then there came, and then you mentioned the recession. There was also people not wearing as many suits to work with the Silicon Valley, and people dressing casual, not just casual Fridays, but casual every day.
Right.
So that was another thing. But the biggest low point, or the toughest thing that I've ever been through in my life, was COVID-19, the pandemic, and Freed's of Windsor being closed for 39 weeks over a 2-year period, almost closed a full year. When you do things, when you have to try and be proactive and buy a year in advance, and trying to take care of our staff and our management, the family, all in one, and the health and safety, all of those things were a major to-do, of course, for everybody.
Right.
But it certainly had an impact on me, and that was a big challenge, but we're working our way through that one too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, those are all business killers, really. You were so diverse, nimble, creative, caring, and with the pedigree, and you're determined to keep it going. And good thing you did, because there's very little branding left in terms of ma and pa, so to speak, shops left. certainly in the city of Windsor, but really anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's a remarkable thing. I've said that to your staff before, individually, saying, how long have you been here? And they say, 40 years, 42 years. Sammy the tailor, other people that work here, Bobby Miller and Sly and all the different guys that work here that I knew. And what a great run that they had. And the other testament was they've gone to the parties afterward that you continue to have, and they'll show up.
Yeah.
And that's a testament, because it sounds kind of trite or simplistic, but it's not. Because if somebody doesn't enjoy working there and they can't wait to get out, they don't show up at those events. They're not even perhaps invited. It's a different culture. You create a family environment here.
Absolutely.
That's super cool. I love that. So I think that's a client perspective or customer perspective that they do have of it. But back to that point that you made about it doesn't run itself. Of course, we know that at a granular level, business doesn't. But it seems that it's the front-facing measurement of the business where it's maybe sexier or glitzier, that type of thing, and you're just walking around the floor. And even I wouldn't perceive you on the back end doing all of that, even though intellectually I knew you were doing that.
Yeah.
But kind of on an emotional level. So I think a lot of people think, yeah, it just kind of toots along on its own. You build it, they will come, put clothes out there, and everybody's happy. And that's not the case at all.
No, I mean, the store has just evolved, 94 years, and it was Sam's and Sam's department store, now Freed's of Windsor, but always evolving, always looking to improve. And one thing I've also found, Dave, is just when you think things are going really well, that's when something else should happen, and it can be something just totally out of your control.
Correct.
And I can name a lot of good things, and I can name a lot of obstacles that have been put in our way, but being able to work through them, to communicate amongst other family members, managers, staff, and to customers is all part of the deal.
Huge, great. I see notoriety really hasn't, and this sounds trite, hasn't affected you, but knowing you.
I mean, I laugh at that, Dave, because I know you, and it's like, come on, dude. It's like, we're just, and I say to my son, and he my son Evan was also did a little singer-songwriter stuff, and sometimes he might get worried about something. I'm like, we're all just. I say we're just specks of dust.
That's right.
We're just specks. I mean, the universe is huge, and we're just people. And I've met all kinds of notorious people. I've had all kinds of famous people walk through the store over the years. Tremendous amount of people in the sports world, particularly, and I found most of those people to be incredibly warm, friendly. Just beautiful people, and we're just all one people, Dave. So
yeah, I feel
that's what it is.
Yeah, that's good. What's Ari's vision of the future look like? I know you talk about the kids, the transition, the succession.
So one thing on that is, as now I'm getting into my 60s here,
really,
and turning 62 in a couple months, I'm looking to have a little bit more, I guess, work-life balance. And I think the pandemic did that to us, whether we wanted to or not. We were not working as much, but I want to turn the reins over, so to speak, in some regard to my sons, already happening to more and more each and every day, each week, that they're taking on more. Getting involved in the buying that I did, and the managing, and all of the details that go into running this business. So I'm still quite involved in a lot of them, and the major say comes down to Dan and myself. But I'm thinking of Whitney Houston right now. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, the children are the future, right? Let them lead the way, right? So I believe the children are the future, and we've got to, Freed's goes on because we have a nice blend of people that have been here for 30, 40 years, and we got new people coming up the ranks as well. So we got to let the youth get involved, and we can learn from them as well.
That's nice. Okay, let's kind of wrap this up, bring this in for a little bit of a landing, although I could talk to you all day, as you know.
Yeah.
Others seeking something bigger than themselves. You kind of said that when you were talking about the expression of how you run business and the family, which speaks to that. But if you're given 3 pieces of advice, and it doesn't have to be 3, but just in general.
Yeah.
Business, personal development, family.
I think I've got a lot of sort of key things, and I did a seminar once and had 5 points on it, actually. I don't know if I can remember all 5 of them. One was build strong relationships.
Yeah.
You know, Dave, I've known you a long time, and we can smile when we look each other in the eye.
Yes.
Because we know that we feel
love.
We feel the love, we're friends, and like to do that on a daily basis with customers, with staff, with managers, with family, with suppliers. And so if you build strong relations, and show the love will come back to you. So that's one huge one. Being proactive is another one that, when you think things are good, you better, keep trying to do even better. Don't just rest on what's happened in the past. It's another one. Another one is to set goals.
Mm-hmm.
If you have goals, if you write them down, there's a good chance that if you stick to those goals and keep thinking of them, that you'll hit those goals.
Mm-hmm.
Never give up. Another one.
Yeah, perseverance, tenacity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Never give.
Yeah, the grind. The grind is.
Thomas Edison did it with getting the light bulb. He tried like 1,000 different ways, and he went through all the wrong ways, and there was nothing left, but he finally figured it out.
Yeah, exactly. So, all the wrongs create the right if you stay tenacious, and you're on the right track, right?
Yeah.
The headwinds, they kind of don't matter. But it's tough getting through it in the moment, but you had the right mix here. Anyways, Ari, it's been a pleasure. It's all been mine. And I'd like to have you back sometime. We'll do this again. It's just not enough for the time that we've been allotted here. I want to keep my finger to the wind on what's going on at Freed's, the evolution of the business and people around here especially. How does that sound to you?
Sounds great. I just thought of the 5th point, and that's to always be positive. So, sometimes things happen to us and it can bring us down. Just got to stay positive, and good things will happen, man.
Kind of ties in with how I'll tie it up for the listening crowd, and that is be solid and be after you.
Absolutely. You're a solid guy, and appreciate the time.
Thanks.
All right, man.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Well done.
All right.